I've been hearing from everybody this morning, every millennial this morning, is that a second chance, a second chance, a second chance. God is giving you a second chance. Not only is he the God of second chances, third chances, fourth chances, fifth chances, he's the God of a second chance. And that chance is so important. And let me tell you how important it is for you to take that chance. I was a young woman that grew up in church. At 17 years old, that chance was extended to me. I knew right then that I was being plagued by some things, homosexuality. I wanted to get out in the world and drink and smoke. And that's why, Sophia, we got to connect, girl. I'm telling you, God has something planned and perplexed for our lives to get together. And so what began to happen? I began to live a life. He began to really attack my identity. So I didn't know who I was. I knew who I was, but I got lost in who I thought I was, and then also who I wanted to be. So we began to run from God, and we began to say, I don't want to do that. You're calling me to do some things that may be greater than me. It had been called over my life, just like every other person on the line. My mother was not supposed to have children. They told my mother that she was barren. She's not supposed to have children. And at the age of 16, she got a word, and they said, you will be pregnant with a young girl, and her name will be Christine. And what does Christine mean? Christ-like, Christ follower. Of course, I didn't know all of this, and my mom gets married. She's married for 5 years, cannot have children, not able to have kids at all. And what happens? God sends her miracle child, and they tell her, okay, you are pregnant, but we're not going to be able to really deliver this baby. You need to make a choice. And if she does even make it, she will be born with Down syndrome. She will not be able to live. And my mom said, that's fine. God gave me a promise. And they kept saying, how do you know it's a girl? God gave me a promise. Her name will be Christine. So see, I was already called before I was born. So there was a plan for my life. And like Jonah, I tried to run and hide in a bunker, but then God decided to give me a second chance. Hey, so when he gives you a second chance, take your chance, baby, because he has already predestined your life. And then what did God call Jonah to do? He called him to go back and to preach into a nation. He called him to go back to the same place where he was before, where he ditched and dodged. He called him to go back into Nineveh and to preach. And when he got there, the Bible says that the people accepted his word. They said, and when the word got back to the king, that the king did a decree over the land, and that the king said that I want everyone to fast. I want burlap over the animals. Everybody, everything has to bow to the name of God. So you see, when he got there, he was afraid that he wouldn't be able to speak and that people wouldn't listen. And oftentimes as millennials, that's the place that we're in. You know why? Because as kids, we were told to shut up. That's not your place. Do as I say, not as I do. And our mouths have been shut for so many years that God is saying that you have a word inside of your mouth, that it is time for you to come forth with that word that I placed inside of you before you are born. That word is not to be shut out, that there is a nation that is waiting to hear that word from you. And if you don't speak it, the Bible says that at the end of Jonah, in Jonah 3, God changed his mind. He was bringing death to that nation. And because Jonah went and spread the word, God changed his mind. Do you know that God can change the mind of a nation on your behalf? Do you know that you have the power to change the hearts of kings? Do you know that you are able to speak life into places where there was intended to be death, that nobody there can do it but you, that God will give you that second chance to use your voice? Millennials, God has given us a voice. It is our time to speak. I love that the baton has been passed. When I asked him for words, he gave me the word, of trustee. He gave me the word. He said, I am passing a baton. And he said that you are going to be our trustee. And so we're looking at people that are our successors. That's the word, successors. We're looking at the people that came before us and said, how could we be like that? And the Lord said, your successor, you are now their trustee. They are trusting you with the things that God has already imparted in you, that we have imparted in you as that same generation. And while it may not come to pass in the way that they seen in their day, it is coming to pass in the way that you see in your day. So the things that we are being plagued with in this day, we have the answer to. The things that we are being plagued with in this day, we are being delivered from: homosexuality, all the different mental illness, all the different things that we are experiencing within our day. God has given us the voice to speak up against it. So every time you see a shift in reign, a shift in God doing a baton pass, you know that there is something new that is happening and taking place, but we cannot forget those that came before us. So we need to remind ourselves that we have to speak, that God has called us before we were born, that he is now trusting us, that they are passing down the baton for us to do the work that God already placed inside of us. So don't be afraid to speak. He's calling you to speak, and he's calling you to speak on his behalf.